The automatic transmissions were basically garbage. One, they could barely get out of their own way for blowing head gaskets all the time. They overheat.
Buying the wrong car could be the worst financial mistake of your life. Scotty Kilmer claims that some brands like Chrysler and Fiat are disasters waiting to happen, with issues ranging from engine failures to horrible build quality, but it gets worse. We'll expose a brand you might trust that's ranked among the least reliable. Are you driving a ticking time bomb? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Have you ever felt like the car you just bought was designed to disappoint? Well, some brands seem to specialize in exactly that. Automotive expert Scotty Kilmer doesn't hold back when it comes to calling out what he considers the worst offenders. He's particularly critical of Fiat and Chrysler, two names synonymous with headaches for car owners across the board. Let's start with Chrysler. This is a brand that once had a reputation for innovation, but those glory days seem long gone. Today, their lineup is painfully sparse, relying largely on outdated models that have been plagued by mechanical issues for years.
Now, to begin with, I'm not a Chrysler fan, so I always wonder, why do people buy these things? And if you look back at history, it even makes less sense. They only made it from 2011 to 2017. They stopped making them. Chrysler 200. Now, it's not a bad looking car. Decent lines to it. The paint and body and the wheels.
Take the Chrysler 200, for example. This midsize sedan was supposed to help the company regain some footing in a competitive market, but instead, it became infamous for its string of reliability issues. Owners of the Chrysler 200 didn't just report problems. They often sounded like they were stuck in a nightmare. From engine stalling to complete transmission failures, the 200 left many people stranded on the side of the road far too often.
Let's start under the hood. Look at all the plastic crap. Yes, plastic everywhere. PT Cruiser. Now, PT stands for personal transport. It turns out that Chrysler was trying to pull a fast one.
And then there's the PT Cruiser. Sure, it had quirky styling that made it stand out when it first hit the market, but that quirky appeal couldn't disguise the serious problems under the hood.
For blowing head gaskets all the time. They overheat.
One of the most common issues? Blown head gaskets. A particularly frustrating and costly repair that can leave even the most patient car owner in disbelief. The result? Owners quickly found themselves paying far beyond what they'd anticipated, both in terms of repairs and sheer inconvenience.
Now, these PT Cruisers were produced from 2001 to 2009. It didn't work out that way, so it's still classified as a car, as an SUV, not as a truck.
Now, let's look at Fiat, a name that evokes images of small, stylish cars zipping through narrow European streets. While the brand has charm, owning one in real life is far from charming. Consumer Reports has consistently ranked Fiat models at the bottom of reliability charts, and it's not hard to see why. Take the Fiat 500, for instance. This tiny car might look cute in your driveway, but behind its bubbly exterior lies an array of issues. Transmission problems are a recurring theme, with reports of jerky shifting or complete failure cropping up far too frequently. Electrical problems are another sore spot, often causing everything from dashboard malfunctions to non-functioning lights. Essentially, Fiat ownership becomes a game of Russian roulette, and the odds aren't exactly in your favor. The data backs it all up too. Consumer Reports has regularly flagged both Chrysler and Fiat as brands plagued by recalls and subpar reliability. A study of recent models found that Chrysler vehicles tended to feature among the most frequently recalled cars, something that should give any buyer serious pause. Meanwhile, Fiat has struggled to make a case for itself, with reliability scores so consistently low that some owners report feeling cheated shortly after driving off the lot. And it's not just ordinary drivers weighing in. Automotive experts have pointed out for years that Fiat's reliability woes persist despite the company promising improvements. It's no wonder Kilmer refers to these brands with such disdain. Here's where things go from bad to worse. Buying one of these cars doesn't just burn you up front, it haunts you later on too. Resale values for both Chrysler and Fiat models models tend to plummet faster than those of their competitors. Think about it. Once word gets out about mechanical vulnerabilities and frequent breakdowns, who's willing to pay a premium for a used Chrysler or Fiat? The answer is clear: almost no one. This steep depreciation essentially traps owners. Even when they're ready to rid themselves of the car, selling it feels like taking a massive financial loss. So what's the takeaway here? Chrysler and Fiat might look enticing from a distance, but reality kicks in the moment you sign the paperwork. The engine issues, electrical failures, and abysmal resale values all add up to a terrible ownership experience, not to mention the constant shadow of safety concerns. Scotty Kilmer put it bluntly, but the underlying message is clear. If you want a reliable, stress-free car, these brands don't belong on your shopping list. And if you think avoiding these two brands is enough to save you from car buying woes, think again. Even luxury car buyers might be walking straight into trouble. Coming up next, we'll uncover how some high-end brands, with all their polished exteriors and hefty price tags, actually hide a mountain of issues. Stay tuned, because if you thought only budget brands were problematic, you're in for a surprise. When you think of luxury automobiles, you think of refinement, precision, and dependability, right? Well, the reality might shatter those assumptions. Scotty Kilmer doesn't mince words when it comes to critiquing high-end brands, and one name he's singled out as horrendous is Jaguar. For Jaguar enthusiasts, those reliability issues hit harder because they come with steep service costs. Maintaining one of these vehicles isn't just a hassle, it's also expensive. From constant safety recalls to recurring engine failures, the brand's reputation is riddled with quality control concerns. A detailed look at Jaguar's history with recalls reveals consistent issues tied to their electrical systems. Whether it's power systems that inexplicably fail or safety features that malfunction, these problems create a perfect storm of inconvenience and expense. For a luxury car, even a single electrical failure can have ripple effects, where everything from window controls to vital safety components can stop working. Add this to engine recalls that can sideline your vehicle for weeks, and you've got a recipe for endless disappointment. No wonder Scotty Kilmer calls Jaguar the kind of brand you'd regret buying. But Jaguar isn't alone in this category. Volkswagen, while not traditionally labeled as luxury, has earned its share of criticism for long-term reliability here in the US. Despite its European cachet and history of producing iconic vehicles like the Beetle or the Golf, Scotty Kilmer describes the brand as plastic junk that falls apart. That's a harsh verdict, but it lines up with common complaints from owners, especially those driving models on the cheaper end of Volkswagen's lineup. Compared to other brands in its price range, the idea that Volkswagens might age poorly is troubling, especially if you're someone who expects their car to last well beyond its warranty period. Volkswagen's aging components are a particular sore spot. Scotty isn't alone in pointing out that something as basic as interior trim can degrade quickly, leaving an expensive car looking worn out in just a few short years. Mechanical components don't fare much better, though their problems are often more subtle than Jaguar's recalls. Transmission issues and electrical faults are recurring themes. In older models of the Passat or Jetta, drivers often report that systems begin failing in unison once the car passes the 100,000-mile mark. It's a problem unique to brands that put looks ahead of durability. While Volkswagens might perform well in their prime years, they seem to lack the robust construction needed to thrive for the long haul. Here's the bottom line: luxury, or even perceived luxury, doesn't necessarily buy you peace of mind. Jaguar may offer sleek designs and roaring engines, but that beauty is only surface deep when the car spends more time in the shop than on the road. Volkswagen appeals to those looking for some European sophistication, yet its repair costs and aging components make it a gamble. Simply put, paying more isn't always a guarantee of quality, and for these brands it might mean the exact opposite. And if that wasn't surprising enough, there's more you need to know about car reliability before making any big purchases. Cars aren't just financial decisions, they're investments that can save or cost you thousands over time. So how do you avoid the pitfalls of brands like these? Let's dive into that next. The car you choose isn't just transportation, it's a commitment that can either simplify your life or drain your finances. Scotty Kilmer's blunt advice reminds us that brands like Chrysler, Fiat, or even Jaguar can disguise costly problems beneath flashy designs or enticing price tags. Though tempting in the moment, these vehicles often lead to frequent repairs, safety risks, and frustration. Don't let clever marketing steer you into a bad investment. Before buying, research a car's reliability and long-term costs thoroughly. A solid purchase isn't always the most attractive one. It's the one that will keep your wallet and sanity intact.